Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. Today's we have an episode 12 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration. And today we will be going to the moon, or Mun. First of all, let us have a quick look at the roster to see whom shall we select for the honors. Luzor, Dengard, Grekian. Okay, I'll think about it later. Anyway, the mission for today is to go to the moon. So, the point is to use all the data that we have previously collected from the science probes in terms of the lunar gravity, temperature, and all that stuff, and also information as obtained by our ScanSat probes that we launched in the previous episodes, and try to get and pick a good landing spot for the actual mission. So now we're collecting low resolution altimetry scan of the moon, and we will be also collecting the biome or multispectral analysis. Now, in this episode, most of the science that you guys will see will be done in time accelerated mode. So I won't read in today's episode as many science logs as I normally do. By the way, please let me know if that reading out this community science logs is interesting to you, or I should just skip it and collect it. So, based on that, I will try to adopt for the future videos. So, yes, so here we are kind of collecting the data from the moon and Minmus, and from Minmus we still don't have the whole planetary map, but we're getting there. It's probably due to the fact that the Minmus probe arrived a little later and maybe didn't have the ideal orbit from the beginning to be able to cover all the information. So let us go and unlock some bigger engines. We also need some bigger fuel tanks. We do need some landing support in terms of parachutes and legs. And also I like this pack. It's a miniaturization of science through the universal storage containers. It allows you to pack more science containers in a lesser amount. So I'm now thinking what I should do with the rest of the science. I'll probably go for the solid rocket boosters and all the way up to the RCS, and in the future we will probably want to also get the abort modules. Now for the last 155 I'm kind of torn between the fairings, maybe advanced communication, but we are still not going to further planets. I mean, we haven't even discovered them yet. So I'm trying to think here. Advanced RCS, no. Well, waste management, that might be a little bit tempting because of the bigger food and oxygen containers, but I don't know, maybe in the next episode we'll see. So I'm leaning actually towards the fairings, and also with the fairings I can unlock this precision engineering. And for the last one, I think I have here the wheels. Yeah, landing gear. That we will unlock. Sure. Okay, so now I'm showing you in a time-accelerated manner the construction of the lunar lander. And here you can see me using the universal storage parts. It's these two vertical parts, and I'm now trying to see which fuel tank would fit the best, but I think I will probably fit one more of the vertical pylons. So before I go, because I want to collect as much science as I can, so yeah, one more. And the good thing about this like pie slices, because on the one pylon you can fit 4 of these, well, say, containers. And the good thing about it is then basically on one, let's say, 4-piece layer, you can have 4 mystery goose or 4 science juniors. Now for the repeatable experiments, you only need ones, and some of them are even grouped, like, I don't know, gravioli and atmosphere sensor or thermometer and some other. I don't know exactly how they're grouped, but they're very nice and tightly packed. So this allows me to pack a lot of science in a very, very small space, so it's very efficient. And it also don't need to hang the science all outside of the craft, so I find it to be very nice. Then we want to put one communication dish so that we can actually transmit science if we need to. Some radial decouplers along with some more fuel tanks, because I want to have enough delta V. I won't be adding more engines because I think a single Terrier engine should more than cover it. And now I'm just fixing my staging. So with this setup alone, I have 4,790 delta V, which is quite a lot, assuming that this is a stage that will only be landing to the moon. Now, this parachute on the top is very ugly, so I'm thinking I'll just go for the radial chutes. And I'm trying to see if I'm missing some of the other sciencey stuff. And I'm leaning almost to getting as many science as I can, because clearly this will be a science harvester. So I'm also putting some of the science parts here, but then again I might be over engineering it, and whoa, well, I guess we won't be packing the soil moisture sensor, it's just too big. Let's see. Now we'll definitely put this I don't know what this one does, but yeah, let's put that one. Okay, and now solar panels, we can put 2 sets, one on each side. Some batteries. These are actually small batteries. Do I have a bigger ones? Maybe, let me see. Oh, just a couple of lights, because yeah, we need lights for the landing. It's very handy. Landing legs, clearly. And I'm just put them, more of them, so that we have enhanced stability. Now on the top I was thinking docking port, but then again I found bigger and better batteries, so I'm just replacing the old ones with the new, and these ones are from KW Rocketry. And I'm selecting a preset from the real chutes for these radial chutes. And I think we can simulate this. So the good thing about the Kerbin construction time is that you can actually create a simulation. Since we already have sent the probes to the moon, we know what its gravity parameters are, temperature are, so we can actually perform an accurate simulation. And this way we can directly, using the Kerbal construction time, put this lander in the orbit of the moon and see if our solar panels work, if we have enough delta V, if the craft is performing as it should. So, I mean, for testing the landers, I found this to be very convenient, and also it gives us an incentive to actually send the probe to the moon. For example, if we didn't send the probe to the moon with some science experiments, we couldn't actually do the simulation for right now using this Kerbal construction time. So I just like the progression aspect of it, I guess. Okay, now this craft doesn't have too much lunar delta V. It has sufficient, but it's not like by any means like OP. So you have to be a little bit careful in terms of how much thrust you put into the picture. Okay, well, simulation clearly worked. Let us build the boosting stage and the transfer stage, I guess. So, let us see. What can we add here? I want an adapter towards the 2.5 meter tanks, because I don't want to go again with asparagus staging. So some bigger fuel tanks. I was also thinking originally to maybe put the fairings, but the biggest fairings I have are 2.5 meter, and those clearly can't cut it for this lander, sadly. So we'll just use it directly as is. And we'll put a skipper at the bottom. Now skipper is very nice in terms of delta V, so 8.2 kilo of delta V, but the problem is in the thrust to weight. Thrust to weight is 1.08, and that's a little bit too low. So I'm thinking I'll just augment it with the solid rocket boosters. So find 2 nice big solid rocket boosters, attach them on the sides, and just let me rework my staging. Yeah, so 8.6 K of delta V, and now I'm just kind of tweaking the thrusters to make sure that we obtain 1.8 thrust to weight. So we will be gaining a little bit of burn time versus sacrificing a little bit of thrust. We don't need that much thrust at takeoff. So as you can notice, I have added some solar panels on the non-removable solar panels on the outer fuel tanks, which I find it to be a good idea because if you forget to fold the panels, then these ones do help. And I've also added the RCS system to make my bottom stage a little bit more maneuverable. Now, since I have clearly forgotten the launch clamps, my rocket was standing on its engine bell, and when the physics kicked in, it started to dance. Now, during the launch, I have noticed that I have had already an accident, and that is my deployable solar panels have, broken during the ascent. So I figured, oh wow, I will actually need to return Vanguard to Kerbin before his mission started. So when I saw the opportunity to do a material study experiment, I just took it. Now, why have these solar panels broken off? Because when I was doing the action groups, I wasn't paying attention, and instead of assigning them to the custom group 1, I assigned them to the custom group stage. So once I pressed the staging, acceleration picked up, the boosters picked up, and the solar panels got ripped. So at this point I was thinking whether or not I would scrap the mission, but then I realized I still have the 3 outer solar panels, and I'm not entirely sure if they would suffice, but well, what the hell, I mean, Vanguard is already there, the ship is already built, the parts have been spent, so might as well give it a go. Now I'm just tweaking some orbital parameters to get to the apoapse. You've seen me do this several times over, and as I said in this episode, since we're mostly in time acceleration, I will not be reading the science logs. I will probably read them maybe for landed on moon or something like that, or we'll see, depending on the situation, I guess. You might have picked up on the previous episode, I was announcing some sweepstakes. Actually, it will be a quiz. Now, each episode, this, 12th, 13th, and 15th, I will be asking 3 questions throughout the duration of the episode. And the first person who responds correctly to all 3 questions in the YouTube comments of this particular video, or episode 13, 14, and 15 respectively, will win a Steam gift games. Or Steam gift game. I have a total of 3 games to gift. One of them is Warhammer Dawn of War 2. Another one is XCOM Enemy Unknown. So a little bit older games, but I think if you haven't played them, they're still pretty valid. And the third, which will be featured, I guess, is, of course, Kerbal Space Program. So, I would advise you follow the episodes, and during the episode pay attention to the questions I will be posing and post your replies in the comments below. Note, you have to get all 3 answers correct, and you have to be the first to do so. Just to give you a little bit heads up, the questions will be tied to the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration series. So, okay, with that out of the way, let us continue with our transfer to the moon. Coming up to the moon's sphere of influence, I'm also tweaking my parameters to make sure that I get as close periapsis to it as I can, because we will be going for the landing. And we have changed to the moon's sphere of influence. So, we have some science to pick up. So let us perform the science experiments now, shall we? Let's see, we have, I'm just turning so that I can see my door, and let's say, crew report. From this high up, canyons look like scars across the moon's face, which is appropriate considering how much moon has survived millennia after millennia. Material study. Your lab report is strategically written to convince KSC to let you land on the moon. Well, they'll probably do a kick-ass job because I'm for sure landing on the moon. Radio plasma wave. Okay, while in space high above the moon. And then we have the solar particle analysis, I guess, to collect. Also takes a while, and you can see I really like the animations on these experiments, how do they open up and deploy, so I find them to be really cool. Okay, we have got an EVA report in the space while high over Kerbin, and I don't know when I'm pressing the board, I'm pressing F, and I think that's probably colliding with my Final Frontier mod for some reason. So yeah, sorry about that, sometimes my Final Frontier pops up. Okay, tweaking some more parameters to get low periapsis and hopefully get some data on the low above the moon. And when we get to the periapsis, we will be performing a burn to circularize the orbit, and then we will use the information as obtained from the ScanSat to find a suitable landing site. Okay, while I'm doing the burns to get into orbit, here is the first question for today's quiz. And remember, you're competing for the Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 2. So the first question is, what is the name of the first Kerbal casualty of my space program Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration save? So, which was the first Kerbal that gave his life for the advancement of science in this particular series? Okay, doing some more sweet science. Just collect. The folks back at the KSC, the scientists and engineers, will be thrilled with the amount of science we're gathering. It will definitely give them something to do for further time to come. And Dengard is clearly very, very happy and eager to collect all the science. He's just clearly enjoying himself. Okay, time to store away all the science experiments. I'm doing this a little bit time accelerated because the mission is pretty long, and well, I want to still be between, let's say, in the 30 minutes range. So now, as you can see, I'm using information collected from the ScanSat, and I'm using a mod called Map Overlay, which is showing the biomes. I mean, it's not exactly 100% tied to the ScanSat, but I felt it would be cheaty for me to enable the overlay before the ScanSat has done its job. So once the ScanSat has done its job, we have decided to have a look at the actual map, and I'm thinking that I will go for the landing site at the moon's east far side crater, probably. That's the crater that you can see on the right hand side of the moon. So yeah, right now we have created a maneuver node, and we're slowly gliding towards the maneuver node that would put us into the orbit around Moon. And while I'm doing so, I have noticed one very worrisome thing, and that's that our electric charge is dropping, and I for the life of me cannot figure out why that is happening. I mean, until now it wasn't dropping, so I don't know, maybe I triggered something to cause it to drop. I mean, I'm not using even the reaction wheels or stuff, so I'm turning them on and off. And at this consumption rate, I will be run out of it pretty quickly. So I am trying to quickly make a maneuver node that would take us to the east far side crater. And I'm just burning. Yeah, I'm just burning to get there. And yeah, with the alarm rate, with the rate that this electric charge is dropping, I calculated that I will probably have enough electric charge to glide the aircraft or glide the spacecraft down to the landing, but probably I will run out of it pretty soon after landing, which is very disconcerting. So yeah, I'm just basically now racing against time to put the spacecraft down on the surface of the moon. And hence, this is how this episode has gotten the name Race Against Time. So, you also have to remember that this craft doesn't have the world's best thrust-to-weight ratio, so it doesn't accelerate instantly. So we have to account also how much time it takes to actually decelerate from the orbital velocities. So, and I'm keeping my eye on the impact time on the upper right hand side of the altimeter. And while I'm doing the burn, I might as well be collecting just some more science. I will for sure not be doing an EVA report. That doesn't appeal to me as a very good idea. Yeah, and I'm very concerned with the loss of electric charge. We're almost down to 1/3 of the electric charge, and the loss of the electric charge just occurred when we were already just before the burn to orbit, so we are rapidly depleting it. Okay, just now trying to kill as much horizontal speed as possible, and we're there. And yeah, the slope seems to be fine. I will be landing at 5.7 degrees of the slope, which I find to be pretty okay. Just looking around, seeing what the landscape looks like. And impact time 30 seconds. By the way, I'm using this method of monitoring the impact time, so when it drops to 25, I burn until it gets to 30. When it drops to 15, I burn it until it gets to 20, and I repeat the process so until I get a little bit very close to the surface, and then I just basically burn to get to some, I don't know, 10 meters per second, and then when I'm very close I just decelerate to 5 meters per second, because that's not a problem with this thrust to weight. I thought it might be, you just might be interested in terms of how do I do my suicide burn. I actually don't do the suicide burn, but I do several incremental steps of decreasing my vertical speed once I have already killed my horizontal speed relative to the surface. So we are decelerating now, 5 meters per second, 4, 3, 2, and as we are touching down, we get the warning that our electric charge is running out. So, yeah. Okay, and we have landed. Phew! That was a close call. I was really worried that we might run out of SAS as we were landing on the moon. So, I'm just gonna go quickly through the science because we don't... you know that with the tech life support you only have like 2 hours after the electric charge runs out before your Kerbal dies. So what I'm kind of hoping for at this time is I am just assuming that there's a good chance that Vanguard will die on this mission, but if I manage to put the spacecraft already in the orbit around Moon, and if I manage to put it on a trajectory that would go to the Kerbin's periapsis of 25 kilometers with the parachutes armed, I'm kind of hoping that the craft would be able to re-enter itself even in the worst case happening and Vanguard basically dying on us. So yeah, I'm a little bit rushing with gathering the science, planting the flag, and yeah, well, however, we definitely have a time for a selfie. After all, Vanguard did just land, was the first Kerbal to have landed on the moon, and we definitely need to have a picture to prove it, and of course a flag. So we have posted the flag, and let us quickly take a selfie. Vanguard, be quick, time is ticking. Yeah, he doesn't care, he's just happy to be the first Kerbal on the moon. That's the spirit. Cool. Now, just go ahead and... Vanguard, stop fooling around. Time is of the essence here. So, and here I noticed a possible glimpse of the problem. I noticed that some of my experiments were still deployed, and I think this one is being used as a scan set multispectral scan, so it might be that what is draining my batteries, but regardless, sorry by the way for the popping of the final frontier. Now I'm just as quickly as I can, even without SAS, just burning for an apoapsis. I think I'll go for probably some 15, maybe 20, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, some 15 kilometer periapsis, and quickly making preparations to do the orbital insertion burn in the orbit around Moon. After all, I mean, the full orbit around Moon, I don't know how much it takes, but yeah, I think orbital period is roughly 17 minutes or something, so we do have plenty of time to at least put the craft in the correct trajectory, even though our electric charge is depleted. So, Vanguard, I really cannot promise you that you will be coming home, or you will be coming home, but I'm not promising if you will be alive. Sorry, man. I really feel sorry for you. Then all of a sudden, Vanguard suggested an interesting idea. Well, we already have these 3 solar panels. The problem is that they're not all 3 facing the sun. However, what if we could put all of these 3 on one side so that they actually are facing the sun? Given the fact that I'm playing with Kerbal attachment system, well, that's entirely possible. So, well, Vanguard, you might have just saved your own hide. Let us see what we can do. Okay, 2 of them facing, and let us quickly see if we can get a 3rd one in. But at this point I got also a little bit concerned with respect to his also electric charge, and yeah, so I just decided I'm just gonna go first in, and then I'll go out and put the 3rd one. So just fiddling slowly. I'm not the world's best pilot when it comes to positioning of the camera itself. Alright, let me just quickly check. So 2 of them are on the same side. It seems that we have a little bit of electric charge, which is very nice. I'm just closing the ScanSet experiments, and I will be for sure putting the third panel, solar panel, also facing the sun. But at the moment, let us just first EVA Vanguard and make sure that we actually put the solar panel. Alright, ready Vanguard, 1 more solar panel to go. Just quick saving. I mean, sometimes my game crashes when either I try to recover the vessel or a Kerbal gets back into the ship. I would assume because of the loading of the parts, because I'm playing very close to the memory limit, so yeah, I don't want the Kraken to strike, so that's why I'm pressing quick save. I mean, I'm still sticking to the rules. If it's a bug that messes up my save, I will reserve the right to use the quick load. However, if it's me who messes up due to the engineering stuff, I'm just living with it. So, with that in mind, it's time for the second question. Second question is again tied to the first casualty of our Kerbal Space Program. The second question is, in which episode did the said Kerbal die? So please post the number of the episode and the name in your response. So, that's the second question for the quiz. Okay, well, Vanguard, you have put 3 solar panels, and I'm kind of hoping that this would be your ultimate, well, that you have saved your own hide. Now just inspecting if there are some more experiments that are still running. We might be toggling all the mystery goo bay doors, etc., but I don't think that they really affect the electric charge consumption. It should be something else at work. And at this point, I'll notice a slight discharge, but we still have a little bit of electric charge, so I'm a little bit hopeful that we might just be able to survive. Doing a little bit more of the science experiments to at least get as much science as we can. Alright, and right now I'm closing all of the experiments just to make sure that I park them correctly. And I'm preparing for the burn on. Oh, hold on, we have more. Yeah, gravity scan, orbital telescope. Keep. I'm not a big fan of transmitting the science unless we are really, like, it doesn't make a difference, or unless we won't be recovering the craft. So, oh, and by the way, this is a beautiful sight. Even the message is not really encouraging. Our electric charge is depleted, but we are enjoying a beautiful view of Kerbin. So, we are coming up close to our maneuver burn, and it's only 274 meters per second. We have more than enough with our 1150 meters per second of delta V in the tanks. So, and I also decided not to stage here, because if I would do so, I would be effectively killing my own Kerbals due to the detaching the solar panels. Okay, time for the re-entry. Okay, that brings us to the actual third and the last question for today's quiz. And that is once again tied to the first casualty of this save. How did he die? What happened? So, to quickly recap the 3 questions. First is, what is the name of the first casualty of KSP-Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration, so of this series? Second question, in which episode did it happen? Please put the name and the number. And the third one is, how did he die? So make sure that the first person that puts all 3 correct answers in the comments of this video will win Warhammer 40k Dawn of War as a Steam gift. Okay, we have successfully landed. So just doing a little bit more atmospheric pressure scan, and then we will be recovering the vessel. Okay. By the way, we are coming up towards the end of this episode. I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, please do like the video. And for more Interplanetary Voyage, press that subscribe button. By the way, congratulations, Vanguard, you managed to survive. Thanks to your ingenuity of putting all solar panels facing the sun. Congrats. So, yeah. So here we have our Kerbal roster, and Vanguard, you have won yourself some sweet ribbons. Congratulations. Thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.